and my friend, PSEA Treasurer Jerry Oleksiak.
I am a union leader. I am one of the voices of PSEA, but our union and its leadership are certainly not about me or Jim Testerman or Mike Crossy or your very capable region officers. It's about you. I would never say I am the union leader or I am the voice of PSEA, and the reason for that is very simple. We are all, every one of us in this room, a union leader. You are the face of the union, the voice of the union to your members, to your administration, and to your community. And you make a difference where it matters most, at the grassroots level. We need you, we count on you, we depend on you. So do your members, and so do the students in your districts. Now, I had a very interesting journey on the path of union leadership. I did teach in Philadelphia for my first 12 years or so, and I worked for the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, and I was not in any union. And some people have heard me tell this story before. When I signed my papers when I became employed by the Bucks County Intermediate Unit, my first job in the public school system, literally the first question I asked after I signed the papers was, how do I join the association? So they pointed me in the right direction, and I ended up in an alternative program with several other people. I was there a week, and they needed a building rep, and I was the new guy, so I was the building rep. I went to my first building rep meeting, and I found out that we were in an ugly negotiating season. They needed a crisis committee, and the president of the association said, well, you, and you. And I was on the crisis committee. About 8 of us. I went to the first meeting. There were 2 of us that showed up at the meeting. So after about 2 weeks as a member, I became the co-chair of the crisis committee. It gets better. We had a general membership meeting, and the first, we're going to get everybody together, and the chair of the membership of the crisis committee calls me in the afternoon of the meeting and says, I got a game. I said, what do you mean you got a game? He's a soccer rep, he got called, he's got a game, he can't make it. So I am now going to address, after about 3 weeks on the job, I am going to address the general membership to lay out our plans for the crisis that we're about to face because we're negotiating. So I got some things together, and I had great uniserve, Tom Jawar. I don't know if anybody remembers that name from many, many years ago. And Tom was very helpful, and now we put some things together. So I made the presentation, and I said, are there any questions? And I came in the crowd and called them, and I said, who are you? So that was my introduction to union leadership. But the key, I think the key for me, and it's been a key all along in my career as a teacher and as a union leader, is that I said yes. When you're going to be, okay, I'll do that. You're going to be the co-chair of the crisis committee? I guess I am. Nobody else is here? Sure, I'll do that. You're going to address the membership? Absolutely. When I was laid off by the Bucks IU and I went to Montgomery County IU, they were in the middle of organizing. And because I had so much experience, apparently, as a union leader, I was approached by the president of the union and said, I need a vice president. Are you interested? I said, sure. He said, okay, you're in. That was the election. And this is all illegal, I'm sure. Landon Griffin doesn't quite follow, but this is how it was. So we organized, had a successful organizing drive, and as a result of that, I got laid off too. The IU was great for laying people off. I ended up at Upper Marion, and I thought, let me just lay low for a while, but my reputation apparently had preceded me, and I was approached and asked to be a building rep. I said, sure, I'll be a building rep, what's involved? And this is my favorite of all phrases in PSEA, one meeting a month. So that was kind of my introduction to union leadership. I don't know if you've had similar experiences, but I treasure that experience. I value that experience, and it certainly has helped me to get to the position where I am today. But again, it's not about me as a leader, it's about all of us as leaders. And we are leaders at a very crucial time for unions and for public education. You don't need me to tell you the unions are under attack in the private sector and the public sector. And yet, while private sector unions in Pennsylvania are experiencing steady declines in membership, our membership growth has remained strong. And this is attributable to our success in organizing our ESP brothers and sisters, and our success in continuing to recruit and retain new members as they join the profession. But there are no guarantees. Our demographics are changing, and we are faced with the challenge of continuing to reach out to younger educators and education support professionals who may not appreciate the importance of membership or the value of a union, of a strong union. I too, Rick, grew up in a union family. Not initially. My dad had his own business. He had a deli in Philadelphia for years, and when he finally had enough of that, he sold the deli and he ended up working for the Bud Company in Philadelphia, and he was very proud to join the UAW. And I think the happiest day of his life was the first day he punched the time clock. And he didn't have to worry about running his own business, but he knew that he had health benefits, and he had a solid job, and he could take care of his family, and he didn't have the worries that he had. It's no easy task to educate our new members about the values of unionism, but the facts are on our side, both when it comes to unions in general and to education unions in particular. Historically, American labor unions have led the fight for working families, winning protections such as the 8-hour day, the 40-hour work week, paid vacation, sick leave, overtime rights, health care benefits, pensions, and Social Security, and I'm sure there are others. Employers, as Rick alluded to before, didn't just give those things to their employees out of the goodness of their hearts any more than your scoreboard gives you prep time or health benefits or a duty-free lunch because they love what you do. Today, the fight continues. As a union, we are never, ever done. The fight continues both to retain these vital rights that we've earned, and those before us have earned, and to ensure not just things like a minimum wage for our members and for other working people, but a living wage, and a safe and healthy workplace, and real health benefits. That's what we need to be about now. And we need to work hard to earn those things for our members. Now, unfortunately, anti-union forces, particularly in the private sector, continue to thwart workers' rights to organize, often resorting to intimidating strong-arm tactics. One of the things I learned as a PSA officer is I got research people. I got people. I didn't know that. Can you give me some facts? And they did. Every year, over 20,000 workers are illegally fired or discriminated against somehow for exercising their labor rights. In at least 1/4 of all organizing efforts, an employer illegally fires a worker for supporting a union. And 1 out of 5 organizers can expect to be fired during the average, as an employee can expect to be fired during the average organizing campaign. Woo. As a result, union membership has declined in the manufacturing sector of our economy, as an example, from a high of 40% in the late 60s when Rick and I were young boys, to about 11% today. Overall, union membership today is at about 12%, with only about 7% of that being from the private sector. And in the public sector, where for several reasons the intimidation factor has been less effective, over 36% of workers are in a union, and that includes you. It's interesting that where it's a little easier to join a union, 36% of people join. And it still isn't easy, where compared to where it's very difficult, and you're around 12%. I want you to imagine for a minute what your working world might be like without your local, state, or national association there to support you. You would be without any voice in determining salary, benefits, working conditions, or legislation that has a direct impact on you every day. In a right-to-work state, for example, you don't have the right to express your views through your union about how the school should operate. You risk reprisals when you speak on your own. I know it's not perfect here, but it's much, much safer. Virginia is the closest right-to-work state to Pennsylvania. The average teacher salary is about $10,000 a year less than the average teacher salary here in Pennsylvania.
Yep.